Hey guys, positive vibes coming through this weekend. Big ideas, like broadened perspective about stuff. Maybe a desire to switch some things up, to change some things up, to try something new. Could be a bit unusual weekend. There may be some surprises, some like changes to plans or ideas coming through as well. We have Mercury and Jupiter in a square all weekend. We have the Sun and Uranus in a sextile all weekend. We have a Gemini moon going on, and then on Sunday the moon will enter the sign of Cancer and prepare to set us up for our new moon in the sign of Cancer. That is a huge new beginning, a huge action-oriented new beginning point that is coming to us, opening our week next week. But as we close out this weekend, as we move through the vibes this weekend, we do have a lot of spiritual divine assistance and support going on actually. And we are closing out the last 3 days of a karmic detox process that has been underway for the past year and a half as the nodes of the moon have transited Taurus and Scorpio. We are wrapping up this cycle, you guys. Things coming to an end, culminations, doors closing, cords cutting, but we are on the precipice of some brand new beginnings, and the energy this weekend is really pushing us to embrace a positive perspective about the changes that are on their way to us now. So that being said, let's get into our report of the day, you guys. Let's look at the energy for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, see how things are coming together for us, what perhaps we can anticipate as this energy unfolds this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, July 14th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. On this channel, we are looking at the astrology on a day-to-day basis as these activations are hitting, as these transits are coming to fruition. However, we are not looking at these transits in isolation. We are looking at them in the context of this grander overall like cosmic blueprint that is coming into fruition right now as well, of which these day-to-day transits are like the minor features and parts of that over time extrapolates into our transition of ages, into our shift of ages, into our transition into the age of Aquarius. So we, knowing that we are currently undergoing this cosmic universal shift right now, we are looking at the energy as it's happening every day and seeing how that relates to the overall process that is ongoing. That being said, we are looking at it's a significant weekend this weekend in that type of context, in that type of process, because as I said, in my intro, we are this weekend in the final 3 days of a year-and-a-half long transit that has been quite significant and that has been doing quite a bit to help us actually break some karmic cycles, go through a process of karmic release to assist us in the process of releasing the previous paradigm, the previous age, and actually energetically moving towards this new age of Aquarius and the frequencies associated with that. So actually, like in this grander scheme of things, this past year and a half with the South Node transiting Scorpio, the North Node transiting Taurus, this has been a process of helping us to release ourselves from anything we've been karmically attached to that has been stealing our power, has been causing us to surrender authentic pieces of ourselves out of any lack of perception of our own worth, of our own value, of our own potential. So therefore we feel a need to sort of like give our power away, or mold ourselves into what is acceptable instead of what is authentic, so that we can receive then some type of external validation or some type of like external support or security, because we feel that we are lacking it internally, or we don't perceive that which is existing inside of us that would allow us to have that sense of internal self-empowerment. Now, with the South Node in the sign of Scorpio, that is what we are releasing. That is what we are detaching from, along with all of the subconscious programming that went along with it, that kept us in patterns and cycles of behavior determined by those deeper root issues that we are detaching ourselves from now. And this is happening as a result, when the nodes are transiting Taurus and Scorpio, of the effect of the lesson of the North Node in the sign of Taurus. Now remember, the nodes of the moon: North Node destiny, South Node karma. North Node lesson plan, South Node what we need to release and move on from in order to evolve along the path of growth associated with the lesson plan of that North Node energy. So in order truly for us to detach ourselves from anything that has been stealing our power or distorting our worth, or that has therefore been toxic to our growth in any type of a way, as is the requirement of South Node in Scorpio. We have to learn these lessons of the North Node in Taurus. This past year and a half has been trying to teach us and show us those very things. And what are the lessons of the North Node in the sign of Taurus? Taurus is all about potential that is internal potential that is cultivated and that is used to produce something externally that is abundant, or that is beautiful, or that is stabilizing, or that we can partake in some type of indulgence in physically as a result of the labor and the work that we put in to cultivate the resources that we had inside. Taurus is the sign of the builder. It's ruled by Venus. It's about worth, value, and potential materialized. So when we have the North Node, the destiny point, the lesson plan transiting the sign of Taurus, this is where we are on a journey to rediscover our own value, our own worth, our own potential, and what can be built, grown, developed, produced with that in order to create some type of abundance or stability or beauty or security, or just something, again, that we can indulge in with our physical senses. Taurus is also a very sensory sign, all about, really being able to experience and enjoy the wonders and the pleasantries and the beauties of that which our physical senses the experiences that they can give to us when they're activated by, a beautiful flower, or a beautiful song, or, beautiful clothes, or delicious food, or all that stuff. Taurus energy is very sensory. Strong Taurus, people with strong Taurus energy are usually like very sensory creatures, which is also a beautiful thing. But with the North Node transiting the sign of Taurus, like, this has been the lesson plan. Find our internal value, find our internal worth, like find our own internal resources and potential, and begin to see the value in that, and then have this internalized drive as a result to cultivate that and to create with it. Through this process, we regain our own sense of personal power. And this concept of regaining a sense of personal power is going to actually continue to be very supported after this particular transit of the nodes through Taurus and Scorpio ends, because Pluto will re-enter the sign of Aquarius and begin a 20-year process of essentially like empowering the individual, self-empowerment. So this karmic detox process, this year and a half transit of Taurus and Scorpio, has actually sort of been leading us, prepping us, priming us for the Pluto Aquarius 20-year transit that is going to be coming up next, and that we've already like sort of a little bit got our feet wet with. Pluto dipped into the first degree of Aquarius, or 0 degrees of Aquarius, was there for a while, has retrograded now back into the sign of Capricorn. But when Pluto goes direct and re-enters Aquarius, he will be there for approximately the next, like, we're really going to be starting this Aquarius Pluto transit, which will be a 20-year transit. So we are heading into an age, or a generation, I guess we could say, which that's probably like the way that we are more likely to define it in our current 3D physical reality, like a generation of self-empowerment that is coming up. But this is also a crucial period of time leading into the age of Aquarius, which is an age of self-empowerment, which is an age of self-knowledge, self-mastery, ultimately co-creation, as a result of this greater conscious awareness that we've gained with the forces of this reality, God, spirit, universe. So we're really pulling ourselves out frequency-based wise and vibrationally from some energy that has been distorting our own power, distorting our own potential, distorting our own view of our own value, okay, and our own ability to connect to God, spirit, universe, and receive a sense of self-empowerment that way through our individual spiritual connection and faith as well. So we're on a trajectory, you guys, towards some very new beginnings, and towards, and these new beginnings are going to be characterized by a much greater sense of self-empowerment, like collectively across the board. And another indication of this, of course, is the North Node moving into the sign of Aries. This is the first sign of the zodiac. This is like definitely talking about a rebirth process happening for all of us, a new beginning happening for all of us in some area of our lives. Of course, where you have Aries in your own birth chart, the house that is hosting the sign of Aries in your chart, this is the area of life where you are likely to experience these new beginnings and these new fresh starts happening primarily. But we've hit like a crossroads, like we've hit a turning point, and it's time to move forward. And this is moving forward unencumbered by a lot of the baggage that we've been carrying from the past, perhaps generationally. So we're really wiping the slates clean right here, you guys, and getting an opportunity to step into a redefined version of ourselves that is so much more in alignment with who we really are, what we're passionate about, our ability to truly express ourselves, our ability to like activate that divine spark within us that perhaps maybe has been latent or detached from us from a very long period of time. Universe is trying to get us in alignment with the truth of our potential, bring us into fruition in accordance with the divine image of our potential, and help us activate our destiny. So, okay, all of that being said, and we're going to be talking a lot more about the nodes entering Libra and Aries, our new phase of growth, our new lesson plan coming up here next week. We're going to really get into that and start focusing on that energy. But for now, we actually do, like I said, have a very lovely way that this karmic detox process, this past year and a half, as we're being sort of swept out of this energy. There is a lot of spiritual support, spiritual guidance, divine inspiration, coming through for us, available for us, being indicated symbolically, being indicated by the aspects that are playing out. And it seems like we're sort of being primed to be kind of like excited for the future, or just like looking forward with a sense of like hope and optimism. And the focus is definitely forward in the energy this weekend, and it is an upbeat, optimistic, like lively, creative, fun energy. If there's a way this weekend that you can sort of escape for a little bit and like have a little bit of fun, or kind of like let your hair down, let loose in some type of way, that type of vibe is super supported by universe. And I think that, you know, it will probably behoove all of us, be in our best interest to kind of like follow that vibe and do what we can to sort of like have some fun this weekend, because I will tell you guys, next week, we've got, starting Monday with this new moon coming up, and kind of all week, we are facing perhaps our first initial challenges of this new lesson plan, of this new nodal transit that we're going through. We are heading right towards a cardinal grand cross at 29 degrees with the sun and Pluto in the nodes. So, you know, major change, major breakthroughs, and again, perhaps some challenges on the horizon. But for now, this weekend, we are getting the opportunity to really just kind of enjoy life and kind of feel good about some things. And the more that we can ride these high vibes, I feel like the better we are going to be able to navigate perhaps the challenges that we may be facing in the coming week. One thing I will say about this energy, even though it is a very high vibe energy this weekend, we do want to pay attention to details. We do sort of want to like keep an eye on the fine print of things, like not like overlook things and sort of like being caught in like a higher overall bird's eye view perspective. And we also don't want to be too arrogant or too like self-righteous, because with the combination of aspects coming in this weekend, like that can also be sort of like a side effect or an outcome. And we also don't want to be too idealistic or just like allow ourselves to get too carried away and perhaps the rose-colored glasses, or just the accentuated, expanded sense of positivity that could be coming through this weekend. So, I mean, I'm not saying like don't be positive, obviously. I'm saying just the opposite. We don't want to get carried away, because there is a slight tendency for that, especially in the energy on Saturday. But let's talk about these aspects. Number one, we have Mercury and Jupiter in a square all weekend. We're going to talk about this. This can be bringing some big ideas. This definitely broadens our perspective on things, solutions, and this is like just a positive mental attitude. We also have a Gemini moon going on most of the weekend as well. Gemini is, of course, ruled by Mercury in the square to Jupiter. So both our mind and our emotions probably coming from a pretty positive place throughout the course of the weekend. We also have the Sun and Uranus in a sextile all weekend. This is another positive aspect that is supporting are like desire perhaps to try something new, to switch it up, to do something exciting, to feel stimulated. A sense of spontaneity is definitely in the air this weekend. Kind of just wanting to cut loose, maybe like if you can get away just spontaneously somehow, a little road trip, or just like cut loose and like go see friends or hang out or something like that. That'll probably be like satisfying to the soul on some level throughout the course of the weekend. Things could be definitely a bit unusual this weekend with the Sun sextile Uranus going on, things happening out of the ordinary, surprises, sudden change, especially in regards maybe to plans or to projects, but likely to be for the best. This is not a Uranus energy that is likely to come through and just sort of like dump everything on its head and leave us sitting there, wondering what to do next. This is more of like things happening and things changing maybe suddenly, but in a way where we're like, oh, okay, like this is even better. Or like this is also reminding me again of just like maybe like running into somebody who like spontaneously invites you to do something and you say yes, and then it ends up being just like this awesome time that you had never planned, expected, anticipated, but yet it was like a really like great thing that went on. There's a very strong like networking vibe this weekend as well, like being in the right place at the right time. Again, like if something spontaneously comes to you or you get an opportunity, especially with all this Mercury Gemini energy being emphasized as well, and also Mars in the sign of Virgo right now, also ruled by Mercury, who's in the square to Jupiter with the Sun sextile Uranus, like people, places, meetings, conversations, invitations, shifting plans that shift and change. There's likely to be like some type of positive outcome by the changes or the spontaneous things that we are engaging in this weekend. So that is supported, recommending doing those kinds of things. Not recommending, however, making like huge important choices or decisions, especially in the energy on Saturday. Not going to want to do that. There's definitely a strong emotional energy that could be, again, making us feel perhaps a bit maybe like overly optimistic or idealistic about things, giving a bit of a rose tint to the glasses that we're looking through, or perhaps we're not totally seeing everything exactly as it is. So it's just not a great weekend to necessarily like make the major commitment to something, but it is, like I said, anywhere where we can like switch it up a little bit, like do something that is just like fun. Or Mercury in the sign of Leo as well, Venus in the sign of Leo. We want to have fun, we want to celebrate, we want to enjoy, we want to play. Mercury in Leo right now also, this is like a very lively, fun-loving, creative, dramatic, lively energy that we have available for us. So open-minded as well, like I said, spontaneous, optimistic mindset, mental attitudes, and we should be quite emotionally open to change, options, and alternatives. Again, like trying something new, which is exactly what we need when we view this energy in the context of the greater plan that is unfolding right now, the end of this 1.5 year long process that is about to like launch us into something brand new. And therefore there is an internalized need to be open and primed and ready and surrendering to and accepting the opportunity for change in our life right now. And it seems to be that is exactly what this energy this weekend is bringing us. So great weekend for just doing something out of the ordinary, following your heart in some type of a way, opportunities for fun and excitement, take them. If something randomly comes up and it's making your heart sing a little bit, you should probably go with it. But again, we don't want to overlook the details. We don't want to be like sloppy in our preparations for things. So yes, we are probably seeing things from a higher perspective. There could definitely be some, again, like big ideas or just like alternative viewpoints through which we are viewing things, and we could just kind of feel like there's like sort of a fire being lit up underneath us to make a change in some capacity, but we don't want to just like jump in head first without like doing a bit of due diligence in terms of a planning process. Like if you're going to take that spontaneous trip, yes, do the spontaneous trip, but just make sure that you have what you need, and you don't just like get in the car and go and totally like forget to, maybe that you had something else that you needed to take care of, or you know what I mean? Just make sure that you have gas money or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, as just like a metaphor for how this energy could possibly be gearing us, okay? So very positive energy, big ideas, like I said, solutions, the bigger picture, making plans for the future, reconnecting with our soul as well, fun, playful, free-spirited, open-minded, creative, lively energy, upbeat, lighthearted. This is sort of the frequency that kind of people should generally be on for the most part. Primarily Saturday, like I said, this is a day where we may be caught in a bit of a fantasy land. We may be like sort of caught in like a walking daydream a little bit. The moon will be forming a square to Neptune from Gemini to Pisces on Saturday, while we have this square from Mercury to Jupiter. So we could be like just a little bit delusional in the expansiveness perhaps of our optimism or of our hope or of what we're thinking about the future. Some very big plans could be coming into fruition. But again, not the time to like sign on the dotted line, okay? But this is the energy that is going to be carrying us through into this serious intensity that is coming with the new moon on Monday. Remember, we've got a lot of energy. If you guys saw my July report, I was talking about how this month of July is sort of characterized by these like peaks and valleys in terms of extreme levels of intensity, in terms of the aspects playing out, and then on the other hand, kind of like nothing big really happening. Right now, this weekend, we're sort of in this like energy of like nothing big really happening. We're trailing out of this 1.5 year long energy. We don't have any like major huge activations happening, but moving into Monday, it's like bam, it's all happening. It's all here. We've got the new moon coming in on Monday, the new moon in Cancer, which is a cardinal cycle. Cancer is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are the action-oriented phases of the year when things happen anyways. But the fact that this particular new moon in Cancer is, I mean, it's making its own aspects, but you know, the big news alongside of it is the nodes of the moon transitioning back, changing signs to Aries and Libra, which are also cardinal signs. And this is actually going to set us up with this grand cross in cardinal signs that is going to be what we're talking about for the next like week and a half. And this is perhaps, like I said, our first test or our first major lesson in this new phase of growth that we are entering into now. So perhaps some challenges coming up next week, and the more that we can like generate and ride these positive vibes and, you know, gain this bigger picture and gain this overall perspective and see things from a bit maybe of a more like detached and, you know, spiritual overall perspective, I feel like the better that we are likely going to be able to navigate the big changes that are coming up and perhaps some of the challenges associated with them as we move into the days and weeks ahead. So no major decisions this weekend. We're not getting carried away. We're not over idealizing things. However, we are allowing ourselves to see the bigger picture. We are allowing ourselves to be hopeful and optimistic about the future. We are allowing ourselves to make some spontaneous changes or to follow our intuition. There's a very, very strong intuitive component of the energy right now. Like I was saying, the spiritual dimension of things, spiritual support, spiritual assistance, divine intervention, like things happening at the right place at the right time, all over the energy field this weekend as well. I mean, we also have the sun moving into a trine with Neptune and water signs. That's got to be like one of the most psychic sensitive energies that there are. Very, very intuitive energy that is facilitating our processes right now. Harmonious spiritual energy that is like helping us in whatever it is, you know, that we are trying to accomplish. And also there's other indications of the spiritual support that is coming through all weekend, or Friday and Saturday at least. We have Mars at 3 degrees of the sign of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is 2 guardian angels bringing protection. And then on Sunday, the very last day of this nodal transit, right before we move into Monday, which is the new moon and the nodes change signs, we have the Earth at 24 degrees of Cancer or Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is a woman entering a convent, while we also have the Sun and Neptune in the trine, bringing this spiritual assistance and facilitating, you know, spiritual presence in our physical reality as well. A huge ability, or a greater or a more expanded ability to trust in the divine and the support of the unseen that is again, assisting, facilitating, helping us in our process right now is definitely of release and moving on from something. Now, honestly, like, because of the Scorpio vibes, like, this could be happening on such deep psychological subconscious levels that we are not even necessarily aware of what it is that we're purging, what it is that we're detaching from, what it is that we are releasing ourselves from right now. This may not be something that we even come to understand until we're, a few months forward in this process and we realize, like, wow, like, this psychological component of myself or my emotions is not controlling me anymore, or I don't have a desire to engage in this behavior anymore that I realized, like, was not good for me. This could just be, again, this word spontaneous, like, spontaneously changing things without even necessarily being conscious of it, but, like, later coming to see that, like, oh, right, like, that was the period of time when that happened, and it actually ended up leading to this major change that I'm seeing now. And, retrospect, looking back, like, oh, like, that was actually why, that was what was going on. Like, that was what that experience was about. And, like, this is what it has led to. So past and the future also, where we've been, where we're going, what has happened to us, and, like, the impact of that on who we are turning into now. But endings and beginnings, really huge. I mean, we've been talking about this theme and concept for several weeks now. This whole 2023 year is a year of cascading endings and beginnings. And this couple day period right now, this weekend heading into, the first few days of next week, like, this is the actual fulcrum point. Like, this is when that hand on the clock ticks to the next tick. So we may or may not be consciously aware of it. It may or may not be, generating, like, significant results in our actual, like, conscious experience in life, depending on how this is activating in our chart, but it's happening for all of us on one level in one way or another, as it is also a part of this grander process right now that is transitioning us into the age of Aquarius. So lots of spiritual support in the processes that are underway right now. We really need to fall back into our faith if we feel overwhelmed by the processes that are playing out. We also, another dimension of what we're going to be dealing with over this next week, and we hit this grand cross and we have this more challenging energy. Mars is also right now moving into an opposition with Saturn, and these are the two great malefics, okay, coming into a face-off, coming into an opposition with each other. There are likely to be some tense, let's say, struggles of, like, force, dominance, power, and will that are really playing out in some ways over this next couple of weeks. And that is also something that we are going to be dealing with. And that is also an energy that is coming into fruition now. So you may experience, you may be starting to feel, this is Mars in the sign of Virgo, Saturn in the sign of Pisces. This is also, like, a new understanding, new information, new facts, up against old belief systems, old structures, old fixed ways of belief and understanding. This is a new versus old. That's another thing. Like, Mars is this youthful, like, warrior energy, and Saturn is, like, the old fixed general type of energy. Mars is, like, innovation and Saturn is tradition. So that is another way that this pattern is being demonstrated, old versus new, like, endings versus beginnings, and the battle and the face-off and the opposition of these two forces that are requiring some type of breakthrough. So that is another, like, aspect of the energy that is building over this next couple of weeks, well, days really at this point, that we're going to be talking about. But wrapping up this weekend, Sunday, the moon will enter the sign of Cancer, will begin to prepare and set us up for our new moon in Cancer that is coming up. And again, this is a cardinal new moon cycle, introducing a cardinal transit of the nodes, new beginning, rebirth process, fresh starts, new journeys, new adventures, new perspectives, new phase of growth. All of it is coming with the energy that is pending next week, and I'm going to be here to talk all about that as well. So As the last day before this nodal shift occurs, we do have, like I said, the Earth, 24 degrees of the sign of Capricorn, a woman entering a convent, while the sun moves into the trine with Neptune, water signs, Pisces, Cancer. If we can let go of the past, if we can have faith, if we can surrender to a higher plan, surrender to our destiny, heed the call of our soul right now, you guys. Universe is fully supporting us. We're heading in the right direction. Unlimited possibilities, endless potential, okay? And this new journey, this rebirth process is trying to bring us into a phase of life that actually gives our life a purpose, gives our life an even greater purpose, an even greater meaning, and actually helps us to experience a much greater level of fulfillment as we awaken to the truth of our value, the truth of our potential, the truth of our power, what can be done with that. And in the age of Aquarius, it's not only what can be done with that, it's what can be done with that and how that contributes to the betterment of the overall whole in some type of a way. So this is our journey, you guys. This is how things are coming together, and it will be very interesting to see what plays out and what takes place over this next couple of weeks as we close out the month of July and, you know, head into the month of August. Venus is going to go retrograde too. It's going to be a very interesting remainder of the summer, you guys. So lots of past stuff. We're going to be clearing up lots of past relationship stuff. I'm telling you guys, with Venus about to go retrograde and the South Node in the sign of Libra, this is going to be letting go of old relationships that have like kept us from being able to like stand in the truth of who we really are, that have been in any way like blocking our own sense of self or separating us from like embodying the authentic truth of our own identity. Because with the North Node transiting the sign of Aries, this is a sign of the self. This is all about like learning to be who we truly are and to stand in that and to assert ourselves along those lines. With the South Node in the sign of Libra, without, you know, with an ability to detach from perhaps the social conditioning or the social cohesion or the group norms or any way that we may have been afraid to make waves because we didn't want to upset social constructs in some type of way of the past. This is us, humanity being called to kind of us all become more leaders and less followers. So a lot of the relationships that have defined who we were in the past, this is what we're going to be detaching ourselves from next. And also anywhere that we have been unfair to ourselves or where we have been unbalanced internally because of trying to maintain some type of image or something like that, like this is what we're dealing with. So all that being said, you guys, that's what I have to say for our report for today. Hope you guys liked it. I hope there was something of value in here for you. I'm gonna grab us a synchronicity card now. This is just going to be a bit of guidance and advice for, you know, maybe what we can use to assist us in whatever's playing out over this last 3 days. And this card, it says it's your attitude, which again, I do feel like this is kind of what we are being assisted in remedying as we wrap up this transit this weekend. Straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:14. The only way that you can alter outer conditions is to change your mental attitude. For harmony, peace, prosperity, and health to enter your life, you must fill your subconscious with the understanding that all harmony, peace, abundance, and security is yours right now. This is exemplary of the nodal transit, Taurus and Scorpio, the subconscious, the karmic detox process, the subconscious clearing and detachment and healing and regenerating and filling the void that was left by a toxic subconscious programming with all that it says in this card, the subconscious understanding that harmony, peace, abundance, and security, all of these Venus Taurus themes are ours right now. So that's where we're at, you guys. We got to remember and realize and become a vessel for harmony, peace, abundance and security as we detach and change, switch our mental framework and our subconscious programming to allow us to sort of bloom and blossom going forward, instead of, coming from a mental attitude and internalized state that is blocking our light, that is blocking our growth, and that is blocking our progress. So it's our attitude adjustment, you guys. Karmic detox. That's what I got to say today. Message from the stars and some guidance to go along with it. Hope you guys liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would find this type of content interesting, engaging, or entertaining as well. Leave me comments, you guys. So grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I really genuinely appreciate knowing how these energies are playing out for you guys, how they're impacting you, how they're affecting you. If you are having experiences in alignment with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. I have a Facebook group, a Facebook page, and Instagram in my description box. That's where those are linked. If you want to know what's on these whiteboard over here, if you want to be able to read them, I take a picture of them and I post them in my Facebook group. So if you're interested in that, that's where you will find that. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. We have the big show of the month, the new moon in Cancer. Again, this is a very intense and important, significant energetic activation that we are heading towards. And get ready, because something new is going to be unfolding for you in some way, somehow, along some area of life in the coming days. And I'll be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then. Guys, have a beautiful weekend. And until next time, bye.